My dog groomer left my retriever in a hot car for 4 hours, causing brain damage from heat stroke. She claimed he was naturally lethargic and charged me extra for medical care. My dog never recovered while she kept grooming pets. Her insurance company got very interested. I'm still shaking writing this because even months later, the rage hasn't gone anywhere. My name's Daniel, 32, male, and this story is about the day I trusted the wrong person with the most important thing in my life, my golden retriever, Max. Max isn't just a dog. He's my best friend, my shadow, the one who slept on my chest when I went through depression so bad I couldn't get out of bed. He's goofy, loves tennis balls more than food, and has this little hop in his run that makes strangers smile. He's been with me through breakups, job losses, and losing my dad. He was my family when I didn't have anyone else. The woman at the center of this nightmare is Stacy, 38, female, the owner of Positively Pampered. Small-town groomer, always bragging about her decades of experience and how dogs adore her. I'd taken Max there 3 or 4 times before. Each visit, he came home clean, smelling like oatmeal shampoo, and I didn't think twice about it. She was friendly, remembered my name, gave Max treats at the counter. Normal. That morning was hot. Brutal Texas heat, over 95 before noon. I dropped Max off for what I thought would be a quick groom. Stacy smiled, said, "We'll take good care of him like always," and I left. I ran errands, nothing crazy, grocery store, post office. Around 1 p.m., I came back to pick him up. The second I walked in, I knew something was wrong. The air smelled faintly of wet dog and disinfectant, but Max wasn't at the front like usual. Stacy came out, all fake cheery, holding a leash attached to a dog that barely looked like mine. Max's eyes were glassy, his legs buckling. His fur was damp, but not in a fresh-groomed way, more like he'd been sweating. "He's just naturally lethargic," she said, smiling too hard. "Some retrievers are like that. Don't worry, I even gave him a little medical attention to calm him down, so I'll have to add that charge." I froze. Medical attention? Extra charge? My dog couldn't stand up straight. His tongue was hanging out, gums pale. I crouched, calling his name, and he just collapsed against me like his body gave up the second he felt me there. I scooped him up and he was burning. Not warm, burning. His fur was hot like asphalt. "What happened to him?" I shouted. And Stacy, without blinking, said, "Oh, he must be one of those sensitive dogs. Sometimes they overreact to grooming. But don't worry, I kept him in the car with the windows cracked while I finished with the others. He just gets sleepy." The world tilted. 4 hours. My dog had been left in a car in Texas heat for 4 hours. I didn't even argue. I bolted. Carried Max straight into the ER vet down the road, screaming for help. They rushed him back, slapped oxygen over his muzzle, started IV fluids. The vet's face was grim. "Severe heat stroke," she said. "We're doing everything we can, but I need to prepare you. This is bad." I sat in that waiting room for 6 hours, staring at my shaking hands, sweat and tears mixing on my shirt. At some point, Stacy had the audacity to text me. "Don't overreact. He's probably just tired. Don't let one bad day ruin our relationship. I'll still need you to settle today's bill." Max survived, but he never came back whole. The vet said the brain damage was permanent. He used to sprint for tennis balls. Now he just stares at them. He gets confused, walks in circles. Sometimes he doesn't even respond to his name. And Stacy? She went right back to business the next day. Smiling, posting happy pups pictures on Facebook, pretending nothing happened. That's when something in me snapped. After that night at the emergency vet, my world shrank to 2 things: keeping Max alive and not killing Stacy with my bare hands. The vet explained it in brutal terms. 4 hours in a car at over 100 degrees had basically cooked his brain. He'd live, but the retriever I knew, the ball-chasing, water-loving, goofy best friend, was gone. The new Max stumbled like a drunk, sometimes forgot how to sit, and had seizures that left him whimpering on the floor. Watching that broke me in ways I didn't think were possible. The first confrontation with Stacy happened the next morning. She actually called me, chipper as hell, saying she hoped Max was doing better. I told her he was in neurological decline, possibly for life, And her response? Well, some dogs just don't handle stress. Maybe you should have conditioned him better. I swear I almost drove straight to her shop. Instead, I documented everything. Vet notes, texts, voicemail. Because while I wanted to put my fist through her window, I knew rage wouldn't fix Max. Evidence might. 2 days later, I walked into her shop. The second I opened the door, I smelled bleach covering up piss and fear. Dogs barked from the back. She came out all smiles like nothing had happened. Daniel, how's my favorite retriever? I slammed the vet bill, 4700s, on the counter. He has brain damage, permanent, because you cooked him in a car. Her face flickered just for a second before she slipped back into her act. That's not on me. Dogs die in cars all the time. You're lucky I caught it when I did. Honestly, I should be charging you extra for the medical care I gave him. CPR, water, a cool towel. Do you know how stressful that was for me? That was it. I pulled my phone out, recording. Her voice, her words, admitting she left him in the car, framing herself as the victim. She noticed halfway through and tried to snatch my phone, nails raking my hand. Dogs in the back started howling at the commotion. Touch me again, and I swear I'll have cops in here so fast your scissors won't have time to rust, I said. My voice didn't even sound like mine. It was shaking, but deadly calm. She started crying, like full-on crocodile tears, loud enough that a customer walking in froze in the doorway. He's harassing me. He's trying to destroy my business. That customer left, fast. I did too, because I wasn't giving her a scene she could spin. That night, I got 3 Facebook messages from fake accounts, calling me a psycho dog dad who couldn't handle reality. Same writing style. Stacy. I was ready to go nuclear. And then the insurance company called. Apparently, word of what happened reached them because I'd posted a single, carefully written update on a local pet owners group with screenshots of her texts. Not ranting, not threats, just facts. People shared it. Dozens of them. Turns out Stacy already had complaints on file. Now my story had blown the whole thing open. The rep's exact words. We take incidents of negligence very seriously. We'll need a recorded statement and all your documentation. That was the moment I realized. Stacy thought she'd gaslight me into silence. Instead, she'd just stepped into a fight she couldn't control. Don't forget to subscribe. The insurance rep didn't waste time. Within 48 hours, they had me in a conference call with a claims investigator and a lawyer. They asked for everything: vet bills, medical notes, Stacy's texts, my recording of her admitting she left Max in the car. When I emailed the file, the line went silent for a few seconds before the investigator said, "That's significant." Translation: Stacy had just sunk her own ship. But Stacy didn't know that yet. She was still playing Queen Bee. The same day I sent the evidence, she posted on her business page, "Reminder: not all dogs are suited for grooming. Some owners can't accept that their pets have medical issues unrelated to our care. We love all our clients, even the difficult ones." It didn't take long for people to connect the dots. My post in the local pet group had over 500 shares by then. The comments on her business page turned vicious overnight. "Are you talking about the retriever you baked alive? You're disgusting. Dogs aren't props. Deleting comments won't save you, Stacy." And she did delete. Every negative comment, gone within minutes. But people screenshot everything. They started reposting with captions, proof she's covering it up. By the end of the week, the Yelp page was a war zone. That's when Stacy broke cover. She showed up at my house. It was 9:30 at night. I'd just gotten Max settled after another seizure. Headlights washed across my living room and then pounding on the door. Not knocking, pounding. I opened it, phone already recording. There she was, mascara streaked, barefoot, screaming. "Do you have any idea what you're doing to me? You're ruining my life over one mistake. He's just a dog." I swear my blood ran cold. "He's my family," I said, holding my phone up so she saw it recording. She lost it, kicked my porch railing so hard a spindle snapped, then started sobbing like a toddler. "You don't understand. I'm gonna lose everything. Please, just tell people you overreacted. I'll groom him for free forever. That's when my neighbor, a retired cop, stepped out onto his porch with a flashlight. "Ma'am, you need to leave before I call this in." She bolted. Tires squealed down the street. Next morning, I had 14 new one-star reviews on my business page. I run a small IT repair side business. All with the same wording. Unstable man, dangerous, harasses women. Fake names, but again, the writing style screamed Stacy. I sent it all straight to the insurance investigator. Their response? "Thank you. This establishes a pattern of retaliation." Stacy thought she was fighting me. What she didn't realize was every move she made was tightening the noose around her own neck. And the best part? The insurance company wasn't just investigating her negligence anymore. They were starting to dig into her entire operation. 2 weeks after I handed over everything, the insurance company called me back. Their tone was different this time, clinical, almost cold. "Mr. Adams, we've completed our preliminary investigation. Ms. Price's, Stacy's policy, has been suspended pending review. We'll be pursuing subrogation for Max's medical costs, and we strongly recommend you file a civil claim for damages." Suspended. That meant she wasn't legally covered anymore. One more incident and she'd be personally liable. That same day, Animal Control knocked on my door. They'd received multiple complaints about dogs being kept in unsafe conditions at her shop. Apparently, after my story spread, other owners came forward. A bulldog with burned paws from being left on hot pavement, a poodle with razor cuts hidden under fur, a husky that came home so dehydrated it needed fluids. It was no longer just my word. She had a pattern. When word got around that Animal Control had visited her business, Stacy detonated. She stormed into the vet's office, Max's vet, screaming in the lobby. Said they were conspiring with me, that they'd falsified records, knocked over a rack of leashes, shoved a receptionist. The cops were called. She wasn't arrested, but she was trespassed, banned from the premises. I only found out because the vet texted me, "You need to know, she's unraveling." That night, I got an email from a burner account with no subject line. Just, "You're going to regret this. Accidents happen to people too." My stomach turned ice. I forwarded it to the insurance investigator and the police, who logged it as harassment but admitted it was hard to trace. Meanwhile, her business collapsed in real time. Parents in the local Facebook groups were sharing screenshots, warning each other. Her Yelp and Google reviews plummeted. The grooming shop that once had a 2-week wait list was empty. And that's when she made her next move. Instead of apologizing, instead of shutting up, Stacy started dragging other people in. She showed up at my mom's job, screaming in the parking lot that I was an abuser, a liar, mentally unstable. Told anyone within earshot that I was weaponizing my dog against her. My mom had to be escorted back inside. 2 days later, my sister got a Facebook message from her. "Tell your brother to stop or I'll ruin your whole family. Employers don't like drama." It was textbook escalation. Stacy couldn't fight me head-on anymore, so she went after my family. The irony? Every insane stunt she pulled, every outburst, every fake review was more ammo for the insurance company. The investigator actually thanked me for forwarding it all. Said they were preparing a fraud and negligence case strong enough to void her license entirely. By the time I posted my first Reddit update, Stacy was a cornered animal. And that's when I decided, if she wanted to play dirty, I was done just defending myself. I was going to hit back. Don't forget to subscribe. Update. Wow. I didn't expect this to blow up like it did. I honestly thought maybe a handful of people would read my post, call Stacy a psycho, and that'd be it. Instead, I woke up to thousands of comments, DMs, and even people from my town messaging me screenshots of her shady business practices. First off, thank you. I can't put into words how much it means to have strangers validate that I'm not crazy for being furious. Some of y'all went full FBI in the comments, finding her old Yelp reviews, her deleted business posts, even her Better Business Bureau complaints. The receipts are wild. Someone even dug up a picture of her bragging about leaving a high-energy pup in the car to calm down from 2 years ago. I nearly threw up reading that. To the person who said, "Don't let her gaslight you into silence. Negligence isn't an accident, it's a pattern." Yeah, that hit me hard, because I've been sitting here half the time wondering if I'm just overreacting because it's Max. But no, this is who she is. Couple things have happened since my last post. Animal control did follow through. I can't share details yet, but let's just say multiple dogs are being looked at. And yes, they read every single screenshot I gave them. The insurance investigator called me again. They've moved from review to formal action. They want to use my recording in arbitration. Stacy is spiraling. She's shown up at my mom's job, she's messaging my sister, and she's posting vague rants on Facebook about small-minded people trying to destroy a woman's business. One of her posts literally said, "God sees the truth, and he'll punish the liars." Which is rich, considering the only liar in this mess is her. Some of you suggested suing her directly. Trust me, it's on the table. But here's the thing. I don't want just money. I want her out. Out of this industry, out of business, out of reach of anyone else's dog. And to the people saying, do something symbolic, something she'll never forget? Yeah, you might be onto something. Because Stacy thinks she's the victim here. She thinks if she screams loud enough, the world will side with her. I've been playing defense until now, but after what she did to Max, after what she did to my family, she's about to learn what it feels like when the truth gets weaponized. Stay tuned. I'd been gathering evidence for weeks, but after Stacy went after my family, I knew it was time to flip the script. Defense wasn't enough anymore. The first strike was subtle. I reached out to every single client who had commented on my original post or messaged me privately about their bad experiences with her. I asked if they'd be willing to make sworn statements for animal control and the insurance company. 15 people agreed. 15. They wrote about dogs coming home with cuts, infections, dehydration, and Stacy brushing it off every time. I sent the whole stack, signed, dated, to the investigator. That alone could have buried her. But I wasn't done. Next, I contacted the local pet shelter and asked if they'd be interested in a donation drive. Max's vet bills had left me tight financially, but I had something better. Stacy's own words. I told them I'd cover the cost of printing flyers if they wanted to run an awareness campaign about safe pet care. They jumped at it. So now, every bulletin board in town had a flyer with "Protect your pet from heatstroke" in bold letters. At the bottom, screenshots of Stacy's own Facebook post from 2 years ago, bragging about leaving a dog in a hot car to calm them down. No names mentioned, no slander, just her own words, in public, next to warnings from the American Veterinary Association. The fallout was immediate. Parents walking out of her shop, demanding refunds, grooming appointments canceled in bulk. Someone sent me a picture of her standing outside her own store, screaming at a woman tearing down her special offer sign. But the big blow came 2 days later. The local news picked it up. A short segment on pet safety concerns at local grooming business. They blurred the name, but anyone with 2 brain cells could connect it. Stacy completely lost it after that. She went live on Facebook at midnight, crying hysterically into her phone, said she was the victim of a coordinated smear campaign, that evil people were trying to destroy a female-owned small business. She even named me directly, calling me a deranged dog dad who cares more about money than animals. What she didn't realize? Everything she said on that live was recorded by about a dozen people, and every lie she told contradicted the written statement she'd given her insurance company. The investigator emailed me the next morning. "Thank you for forwarding this. Her policy has been formally canceled. We'll be supporting you in your civil claim." Stacy had officially been cut loose. No safety net, no coverage. If anyone else came forward, she'd be on the hook personally. And I wasn't finished, because one thing Stacy valued more than her business was her reputation as the best groomer in town. So that's exactly where I decided to aim next. If Stacy's business was a sinking ship, I decided to punch holes in the lifeboats. Her last safe space was the annual pet fair downtown, a huge event where groomers, shelters, and pet supply shops set up booths. Stacy had bragged for years that it was her biggest weekend for new clients. Even after the news story, she was still listed as a vendor. I knew if she could smile her way through that fair, she might crawl back. So I made sure she couldn't. I worked with the same shelter that helped me with the flyers. They agreed to give me a booth, free of charge, because they'd seen Max, because they knew. On the morning of the fair, I set up a giant board titled "The Dangers of Negligence." Pinned across it were Max's vet bill with private info redacted. Screenshots of Stacy's texts admitting she left him in the car. A still frame from her own Facebook Live meltdown, tears streaking her face while she lied about what happened. The American Veterinary Association's warning about heat stroke, highlighted in neon. Max was there too, lying on a blanket, his head cocked sideways like he always does now. Every seizure scar, every tremor, every ounce of the dog she broke, on display. People stopped, crowds gathered. Parents pulled their kids closer when they read the words, "left in a hot car for 4 hours." And then, like clockwork, Stacy showed up at her booth 20 feet away. Her banner said, "Loving care for your pets." She took one look at my display and went pale. The first family she tried to pitch grooming services to actually pointed at Max and said, "Isn't that the dog you nearly killed?" They walked away before she could answer. By noon, no one was at her booth. Every potential client was at mine, shaking their heads in disgust, some even hugging Max. A reporter showed up again. This time, they didn't blur her name. Stacy cracked around 2 p.m. She stormed over, screaming at me in front of a crowd of at least 50 people. "You can't do this. You're slandering me. You're obsessed. He's just a dog." That last part, "he's just a dog," was the final nail. The whole crowd went dead silent. Then a woman in scrubs, turned out she was a vet tech, said, "Dogs are family, and you don't deserve to touch another one." The applause that followed drowned Stacy out. She shrieked, tried to grab one of my posters, and 2 event staff physically escorted her off the grounds. That night, the Pet Fair's Facebook page announced, "Due to multiple confirmed complaints, Positively Pampered has been permanently banned from future events." Her reputation wasn't just cracked, it was dust. Update 2. Well, I didn't think things could get any louder, but holy hell, after the Pet Fair, it's been chaos. First off, thank you again. I've been reading through the comments, DMs, and even some of the wild memes you guys made about Stacy's "he's just a dog" line. Shout out to whoever photoshopped her face onto Cruella de Vil. That one nearly made me spit coffee on my laptop. So here's where things stand. The Pet Fair. Staff did confirm that Stacy is banned permanently. They also told me half a dozen parents called in to complain about her meltdown. Apparently, one kid cried because the scary lady was yelling about hurting dogs. Not exactly a great PR look. Animal Control officially opened a full case. They came to my house again, this time asking for every single document I had. From what I heard, they've already seized records from her shop. The insurance company emailed me. Stacy's coverage is fully revoked, which means every past and future claim is now hers to handle personally. Translation: she's financially ruined. Now for the part I didn't expect. Stacy hasn't gone quiet. At all. She's been driving past my house at night. Slow, headlights off until she's right in front. My neighbor, retired cop, caught her once parked half a block down just sitting there. He walked over, flashlight in hand, and she peeled out so fast she almost clipped a mailbox. He filed a report for me. She also left a note in my mailbox, handwritten, shaky, reeking of perfume. It said, "Congratulations, you've destroyed me. Hope your dog enjoys watching your life fall apart next." Yeah, straight to the cops with that one. Reddit, some of you told me after the first update, don't just aim for revenge, aim for permanence. And you were right. I thought the public humiliation would be the end, but Stacy doesn't stop. Every time I think she's finished, she escalates. The silver lining, every threat, every drive-by, every note, goes into the growing case file. She doesn't realize she's basically gift-wrapping her own downfall. So where's this headed? Court. Between the civil claim, animal control, and possibly harassment charges, Stacy is about to be in more legal battles than she can scream her way out of. And me? I'm just here with Max. He's lying next to me as I type this, twitching in his sleep like he still dreams of chasing tennis balls. I'd give anything to have the old him back. But if Stacy never grooms another dog again in her life, that's the closest thing to justice I'll get. Stay tuned. I'll post again when the hammer finally comes down. The court date came faster than I expected. Stacy's insurance company wasn't playing around. They wanted their money back for every claim they'd ever paid on her behalf. not just mine. And with my lawsuit stacked on top, she walked into that courthouse already buried. The hearing wasn't dramatic at first, just lawyers, evidence, witnesses. My vet testified about Max's heat stroke and permanent neurological damage. Animal control officers testified about her shop. Dogs crammed into cages, no ventilation, no water bowls. They'd found a dachshund locked in a closet when they raided the place. That detail made the whole courtroom shift uncomfortably. Then came the recording. My lawyer played the clip where Stacy admitted she left Max in the car, calling him naturally lethargic. You could see the judge's jaw tighten. Stacy, of course, couldn't shut up. She interrupted her own lawyer to rant about how I was obsessed and destroying her life for attention. At one point, she actually shouted, "He's just a dog," again, in front of a judge, in a negligence case about a dog. Her lawyer's face turned the color of paper. By the end of the day, the ruling was clear. Stacy was liable. She was ordered to cover all of Max's medical bills, current and future, and pay damages for emotional distress. On top of that, the insurance company won their claim too. She owed them tens of thousands. But the worst blow for her wasn't the money. It was the license. The judge upheld animal control's recommendation. Stacy's grooming license was revoked. Permanently. She was banned from owning or operating any pet-related business in the state. She crumpled right there in court, sobbing so loud security had to escort her out. She tried grabbing at my sleeve on her way past, shrieking, "You've ruined me. You're going to regret this." But a bailiff shoved her toward the door. The next day, her shop windows were covered in brown paper. "Closed indefinitely," scribbled on printer paper taped to the door. Someone spray-painted "dog killer" across the brick wall in red. Not me. I was home with Max. But I can't say I shed a tear seeing it. For the first time since this nightmare started, I felt something close to peace. Not happiness. Max would never be the same. But justice. Except Stacy wasn't finished. Because 2 nights after the verdict, someone slashed my tires. And when the cops came, they found a single business card tucked under my windshield wiper. Her old, positively pampered card. The cops didn't even pretend to be surprised when I showed them the slashed tires and the business card. "She's unraveling," the officer muttered while filling out the report. They logged it as criminal mischief and harassment, but without cameras catching her in the act, it was circumstantial. Didn't matter, because Stacy wasn't smart enough to stop at tires. A week later, I woke at 3 a.m. to pounding on my door. Not Stacy this time, the police. They'd just pulled her over a mile from my house. Drunk, headlights off, with a trunk full of my printed flyers from the pet fair. She was screaming at the officers that she was taking back the lies and that I wouldn't win. That was it. She was arrested for DUI, harassment, and violating the restraining order I'd filed after court. The next morning, her mugshot hit the local news. Hair a mess, makeup smeared, eyes wild. The same woman who used to brag about being the premier groomer in town was now a meme under headlines like, "Former groomer arrested after harassing ex-client." From there, it was over. Her landlord evicted her from the shop within a month. Her Facebook page vanished. Rumors swirled that she left town to stay with a cousin in another state. I didn't care anymore. Wherever she went, she wasn't touching another dog again. And Max? He's still here. Still damaged, still twitchy, but alive. He follows me from room to room, leans against my leg when I sit on the couch, and sometimes, on good days, he'll pick up a tennis ball and drop it at my feet like he remembers who he used to be. That's all I wanted in the end, for him to outlive her career. For her name to be mud while he kept breathing. The last time I saw Stacy was at the final civil hearing to confirm damages. She didn't look fiery anymore, just hollow. Eyes dead, hands shaking as she signed papers she couldn't pay. When it was over, she glanced at me, lips trembling like she wanted to say something. But no words came. She just lowered her head and shuffled out with a court officer. I walked outside into the sun with Max waiting in my truck, tail thumping weakly against the seat. And for the first time since this nightmare started, I felt like we'd actually won. She left my dog broken, but I left her with nothing.